O'Reilly and Cenk Uygur maybe have something in common, although I'm not sure because I haven't seen this video yet. Now, something very frustrating happened, something that a lot of us have dealt with. Bill O'Reilly's flight was delayed. And a lot of people are dealing with that right now because of the fact that there are staffing shortages with various airlines. Now, there is a difference between Cenk and Bill O'Reilly. Cenk doesn't threaten violence against workers at airlines, whereas according to reports, Bill O'Reilly did. Let's watch the video. I'm seeing this for the first time myself.
It's easy, it's Bill O'Reilly.
You got contact with your
Bill O'Reilly on Box 5. I want to see a manager.
No, what you're gonna do is 3 hours late now. No. You're gonna find out. You're looking at a warm in. You're threatening me with violence. No, I'm not. You're going to war. I dare you. I dare you. Is that what you said? You said it's really disciplined. Okay, we'll get that information. You're going to lose your job. Okay? We'll see.
So as Mediaite reports, and they're accurate about this, the specifics of the exchange between O'Reilly and the JetBlue worker are difficult to make out in the video, but the author and former news host, Fox News host, can be heard saying that his flight is 3 hours late. O'Reilly can also be heard demanding the employee find out what's going on. So far, hasn't done anything wrong.
Yes, perfectly normal.
This is where things get bad. The exchange escalates when the employee accuses O'Reilly of threatening violence, something he immediately denies. When O'Reilly is trying to look at the employee's name tag, he can be heard saying, quote, "You're lucky I don't put my fist through it."
Well, that seems like threatening.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Now, after the employee says something inaudible, O'Reilly replied, "You effing scumbag, don't talk to me like that." And then the worker repeats again, "You're threatening me with violence, man." O'Reilly denies this and says, "You're the one, I dare you, I dare you. Is that what you said to me?" O'Reilly then observes the man's name tag and says he's going to lose his job before walking away.
Yeah, so look, airports are frustrating. Anna's referencing a couple of things there. One of my flights got canceled recently when I was in Miami. Another time, I taped my frustration because it was actually also going to Miami. And I knew that they had a plane because of the way that things had gone down on that day, and they were and they had to decide where the plane was going to go, and they had decided they were going to screw our flight over, and they weren't being honest about it. And so I got loud, but I never threatened anyone. No way, and I didn't threaten to get them fired. That's like a big footing nonsense, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, look, I know you have the plane. We're all sitting here. It's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, and you got to make up your mind. Are you going to bring the plane out or are you not going to, right? And so, and just let us know, etc. And I know I was right because they brought the plane out. And then to be vengeful, they decided, okay, yes, but you're not going on. Okay, so they put everybody but me and one other guy who was complaining on the plane. And then they kicked us out. Okay, but at least I got the other guys on the plane, so I feel good about it. But so that's why in the beginning, if O'Reilly was just saying, "Hey, what the hell? We've been waiting 3 hours," that's the most normal thing I've ever seen in an airport.
And to be fair, like he needed to be somewhere. He was in a rush. He had his vacation at Turks and Caicos waiting for him, and the plane was 3 hours late. Look, I get the frustration. We've all experienced it. Either it's a delayed flight or a canceled flight, and it's incredibly frustrating because it's like one of the only areas of this economy where the customer is not ever right, and you pay for something and there's no quality of service, there's no guarantee that you'll actually end up on the flight because they purposely overbook it. It's just like there are all sorts of disasters pertaining to the airline industry. I don't want to minimize that. At the same time though, it doesn't really make sense to like release all your frustration and anger on like one employee, unless that employee is like specifically doing or saying something to you that makes the situation worse, exacerbates the situation.
Yeah, no, it's not even about that. No, it's so sure you could be human and have a human reaction where you get frustrated, but you should find the person who could make a difference, figure out how to influence them to make that difference. And so that's what I figured out, I think fairly accurately, although vituperatively in the time that I did it. And so by the way, when I first did that video, however many years ago, people loved it, right?
Did they?
No. Anna, I swear to God, the reaction at the time was overwhelmingly positive, right? And people in the streets were like, "Hey, attaboy, man."
Are you serious?
I swear to God.
Okay.
The only other time that I've had as good a reaction like in the streets immediately was when I stepped up to Alex Jones at the RNC, and then people were like, "Yes," right? So later, the right wing took that video like 7 years later and was like, "Can you believe that Cenk is being mean to workers?" Okay, and then they pretended to be outraged. Okay,
Yeah.
So, but in this case, when O'Reilly then says, "I'm going to punch you" or put a,
you're lucky I'm not putting a fist through that.
Yeah, no, you can't say that. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is crazy.
And that'll get you in trouble, and it should.
Later, he told Mediaite that he didn't apologize, but he's like, "Yeah, I probably should have handled it a little better." Something along those lines.
Hey, that's like as much of an admission as you'll ever get from the right wing.
But he then went on to say, "But the problem is real, and they're understaffed, and they're not acknowledging that."
Well, that's true though, probably.
They are understaffed. I don't know if it's true that they're not acknowledging that. I think it's like well known that there's like a worker shortage in various industries, mostly because these industries haven't been treating their workers all that great. So once a bunch of people get fired or laid off because of the pandemic, they get to pushing. They start moving on to other things. You know what I'm saying?
And there's one other thing that's important, which is the bigfooting that I referred to earlier. Back when I got into that kerfuffle at the airport, the manager that I was talking to probably made more money than I did, right? Bill O'Reilly is a multi-millionaire. So when he threatens to get that guy fired, that's not remotely cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, don't do that.
By the way, man, I looked into Turks and Caicos because I was curious. Like, it's been a while since I've been on like a legit vacation. So I was like, "Oh, Turks and Caicos looks beautiful." Is very pricey. Turks and Caicos very pricey. Turns out I ain't going there, not now. But anyway, so I could understand if you're missing out on the precious hours that you've invested in for that vacation.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.